All right. Hey, everybody. Dr. Christine here. Welcome into a broadcast today. And I appreciate you watching the replay. Appreciate you being here live. If you're watching the replay, just put hashtag replay on in there. As the digestion doc, I like to help people regain their freedom from the crappiest, crappiest health conditions like Crohn's, colitis, and so on. But what I want to do today is I want to do one of the things I like to do here and there, which is share some stories from the wild about what's been going on with some patients out there. So we're going to call this patient Phyllis, as I always do. This is a 53-year-old, virtually perfectly healthy female, and she doesn't have any heart health issues, nothing like that. But she did get the famous virus, okay? And it hit her pretty hard. And she is virtual. I've never met her in person, but hopefully one day I will meet her. And she knows who she is, Phyllis. But the story shocks me. I mean, I shouldn't even be surprised anymore about what happens with the broken medical model. But what I want to do is just share a little bit about what happened, because you should be aware of this, okay? And you should be spreading this to your loved ones as well, because she got out of the hospital. She was in there for 2 days, and she recently had her liver panels tested. And so your liver enzymes are really important things, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. But essentially, they put her on this drug. They gave her 2 injections of this drug, Lovenox. Okay, don't you like how they put love in the word? It's so crazy, silliness, not love at all. But this is a very high alert drug. So she had called my office. She didn't have a scheduled appointment, but she just got some blood work done, and her liver enzymes were elevated. And so what I want to do is I want to share with you first about what that means. And then talk more about why I'm talking about this drug. So just to kind of show you here, these are your liver enzymes, all right? ALP, ALT, AST, all right? So ALT and AST, these are the more common ones that you'll hear about being elevated. And liver enzymes, they're proteins, okay? And they do specific reactions in the body. They do everything from making bile to breaking down food to fighting infections. And so when there's an elevated liver enzyme count in your bloodstream, it's because there's a damage that's happened to the liver. The liver is injured, all right? It's playing hurt. And so when you see elevated liver enzymes, that's not good. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a permanent thing. Oftentimes it's a temporary thing, but the point is, it's a sign of liver damage, okay? And by the way, liver enzymes are not the same as smart carb enzymes or food enzymes in general or digestive enzymes. They're totally different, because I've had that happen before where people are like, my liver enzymes are high. Is that because I'm taking smart carb? No, a completely different animal. Liver enzymes, you have millions of enzymes in your body doing different things. Chemical reactions are happening constantly within your body. And so that's a different thing. So just think of liver enzymes as an inflammatory marker that your liver is damaged. So this drug, okay, that they gave to this patient, it makes me crazy because this is an anticoagulant. And let me just make sure everybody can hear me, right? I hope so. Good morning. Hi, Scarlett. Nice to see you. Johnny, Kim, thanks for being here. So if you guys can't hear me, just write that. If you can hear me, I'm just going to keep going. So she's in the hospital for 2 days, and they gave her 2 injections, not 1, but 2 injections of this anticoagulant. And to kind of back up the story a little bit, she calls me. She's like, "What? You know, my liver enzymes are high. What's going on? What can we do?" And they were like pretty high. They're in the 200s. And so the first thing I always ask is, "What medications are you on?" And she's like, "Well, I'm not on any medicine, just a thyroid medicine." And I'm like, "Okay. Well, when you were in the hospital recently with the famous virus, did they give you any medicine there?" And she's like, "Yes, they did." I'd say, "What did they give you?" And she said, "This guy, Lovenox." And I'm like, "Okay, let me get my drug book," pull out my drug book, because I've never heard of Lovenox. I look it up, and it immediately is encased in red, high alert, okay? High alert drug. Whenever you see a high alert drug, all drugs should be high alert, in my opinion, because they're chemicals. They're not foods. They don't provide energy. They're not nourishing. But this one has a high alert mark on it, kind of like methotrexate and other drugs like this. So I'm like, oh boy. And so I'm like, why did they give that to you? And she said, because this is the kicker, you guys. This is a healthy 53-year-old female. She had the famous virus. She's in the hospital, right? She's not obese. She doesn't have heart conditions. She's in the hospital. They give her this anticoagulant because she was laying in her hospital bed for 2 days. What? Are we going to start giving people crutches to get up from a seated position? Like, what is going on here? And so this is the reason, in my view, that her liver enzymes are elevated, that there's damage been done, because they gave her a drug that is just absolutely not even necessary. They gave her she didn't have any problems with deep vein thrombosis. There is no reported clots anywhere for them to give her this drug. All right, this high alert drug. So I just wanted to share that with you, that it's a fact that this happens in America, where doctors are giving healthy patients with no signs of clots an anticoagulant. That's horrible. That's horrible. So I just wanted to share that. And further, these drugs are each $500 a pop. So I mean, that I thought it would be more than that, actually, because I'm like, why are they doing that? It must be super, super profitable to the doctor. Well, that's not extremely profitable like some of the things like Humira and Remicade and Entyvio and things like that. But what I want to do is just want to remind you, as your liver is injured, it releases enzymes into your bloodstream. And so what are some of the things that you guys are probably wondering, what are some of the reasons, common causes why I might have elevated ALT, AST, that kind of thing? What are some of those reasons? And so that's what I want to talk to you about too. And then throw in some questions if you have some, because I might have time to take a few questions. So one of the main reasons why your liver enzymes are going to be elevated is by being on a statin drug. All right. And I'm going to explain to you why this is also so hideous in a minute, so that it can all start to make sense to you. But these are drugs that are given for elevated cholesterol. And that's one of the biggest, most outrageous classes of medications are these statin drugs. All right, because they're treating something that is not the root cause. Just because somebody has an elevated cholesterol doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. And now anybody that has cholesterol over 200 or even 180 now, they want to put you on this stuff. That is absolutely absurd. All right, but that's one of the main reasons why you will see elevated liver enzymes. Again, remember, that is a sign that your liver is injured. It's playing hurt. It's not happy. You should not be seeing that. Liver enzymes in your bloodstream. Okay, so statins is a big cause. Another one, Tylenol. Another one, fatty liver disease. I'm just going to put DX for disease. All of the hepatitis, if that's a word, hepatitis. We got A, B, C. Okay, that could be a cause of it. Also, cirrhosis. Cirrhosis of the liver, even celiac disease could be throwing off extra liver enzymes into the bloodstream, and cancer. And one that I'm going to focus on a lot is going to be metabolic syndrome. I've done quite a few podcasts about this, but metabolic syndrome is something that more and more of you are hearing about. And simply put, this is going to be where you're seeing an increase of fats in the blood, an increase of your blood pressure. So you have high blood pressure. You're also going to see an increase in triglycerides, an increase in cholesterol. So all of these things right here really relate to what's going on with metabolic syndrome. So here's the thing. This patient, Phyllis, didn't have any of these things. She doesn't have metabolic syndrome. Okay. She doesn't have elevated cholesterol, elevated triglycerides, but yet they gave her this blood clotting drug, which damaged her liver. Her liver is injured. But guess what? The body knows how to heal itself, especially when you give the body the proper energy to do so, because the body has the most brilliant, elegant design. All it needs is just a little nutritional support, and it works its magic, right? The best doctor of all always forever will reside within. The best doctor of all forever will reside within. All right. It's ego that gets into people's brains, certain doctors that think that, oh, they are the best thing ever. They know more than the human body does. Very arrogant, very erroneous, very greedy, very profitable, very revolting, and I can go on and on. So when it comes to metabolic syndrome, the problem is with virtually every single disease, symptom, you name it, it always goes back to what I'm always drawing here, which are these gas tanks. And just really quickly, I want to relate this back to metabolic syndrome. So we've got carbs over here, proteins over here, and fats. You should consider that these would be nice and full. The more full these gas tanks are, the healthier the human being is, because these macronutrients are very much responsible for giving our body energy. Okay, this is how we get energy. But what happens is as these gas tanks start to wear away, okay, as they start to go down, and maybe now it's only this full, Maybe now it's only this full. That's a problem. Maybe now this one is only this full. This is just my metaphor. All right. The problem is if you're trying to get to Fort Lauderdale, Florida from Michigan, you are never going to get there on a quarter tank of gas. You're not even going to get there on a full tank of gas. All right. That's a long way away. So how can you expect your body to perform in a similar way? If your body is running on empty, or if it doesn't have appropriate fuel, your body can't do the main things that it wants to do, which is to heal and recover. So getting back to metabolic syndrome, if somebody can't properly digest these nutrients and they're busted all the way down here, this is a big problem. And this is what leads to metabolic syndrome, okay? Because what happens is if you're not properly getting energy from your carbohydrates, you're going to start to now use proteins and fats for energy. And what that's going to do is it's going to start dumping fat into your blood. Because you're not properly digesting it, your body's releasing it because it's trying to make energy from it. So you're dumping fat into your blood. You're also dumping cholesterol into your blood. That's supposed to be an N. Into your blood. You are also dumping triglycerides into your blood. All right. So your body is breaking down because it doesn't have the energy to meet the need. And so what the medical model will do is they will want to give you a prescription drug because, another thing that it'll do is it'll increase your blood pressure. Oftentimes when this cascade is broken, right, when you're not doing all the things that you need to be doing in here, your body will now start to increase blood pressure. So now think about the medical model. What they have for you is they have amazing amounts of medication for each one of these things. All right. So they've got the cholesterol, they got the statins. All right. If you have elevated cholesterol in your blood, no problem. Let's just put you on Lipitor or some other statin. Right? Check. Oh, you got triglycerides in your blood? Let's give you another statin drug. We'll give you two. You have elevated blood pressure? Let's give you Lipitor or something like that. Do you see how this completely ignores the root cause of what's really going on? Much like all the way back here with giving a patient Lovenox for blood clots just because the patient is laying in bed resting for 2 days. So that's the latest thing, everyone. If you're in bed resting at a hospital, you're certainly not getting rest. What you're getting is poisoned. All right. Not every hospital, but a lot of times. I mean, I see it all the time. For 21 years, I have seen it over and over where patients are giving ridiculous, useless, unnecessary medications that are creating more stress and burden on their body than anything before. The best thing you could ever do, here's the takeaway point today. The best thing that you could ever do is try to avoid the hospital at all costs. I sincerely mean that. That's the very best thing you can do. And by the way, disclaimer, I'm not telling you to stop taking your drugs if you're watching this. All right. I'm giving you another side of the coin. So there is never a discussion, even on TV during this entire pandemic, we are never seeing people discuss what can we do that's natural? What can we do that's talking about giving the body energy? What can we do that's supporting the body nutritionally? Because only nutrition normalizes function. I'll say it again. Only nutrition normalizes function. You've heard of potassium, you've heard of calcium, you've heard of zinc, right? Your heart's not going to beat without minerals like calcium and potassium. All right. Your heart's not going to do hardly any of that stuff without magnesium. Your heart's certainly not going to do anything whatsoever without enzyme nutrition. And you have 3 categories of enzymes, by the way: food enzymes, digestive enzymes, healing enzymes. And while I'm at it, a food enzyme and a digestive enzyme are completely different. A food enzyme comes from food. A digestive enzyme comes from your body, out of your saliva, out of your pancreas and your stomach, all right, and so on. Taking food enzymes is not going to weaken your digestive enzymes. That's like saying eating bananas and berries is going to stymie my digestive prowess. It's as silly, all right? So make sure that you know what you're learning and who you're hearing it from, and that their level of education about enzyme nutrition is probably not up to snuff. So what we need to be looking at is, why are we always taking an RX for all of these associated symptoms when that's just going to create more pollution in the body? That's going to also raise up, all right, these liver enzymes. Remember, these are the main reasons for having elevated liver enzymes: statins, Tylenol or acetaminophen, fatty liver disease, hepatitis A, B, C, cirrhosis, celiac cancer, metabolic syndrome. And I forgot a D. That's really annoying. All right. So this is a problem. We need to correct it. metabolic syndrome. This is a very common thing you're hearing more and more people about experiencing. And again, not connected to Phyllis at the top of the show, but I just wanted to show you that if somebody did have elevated liver enzymes coming from metabolic syndrome, these are the things that you need to be looking at. All right. You need to be looking at how are you nutritionally balanced? How are you nutritionally able to and apt to give energy to your tissues, your organs, your cells? That matters. Okay. That matters. So this is where the medical model is super broken, is they want to keep you sick and poisoned. The government is in on all of this as well to some extent. It's $1 billion industry, the mystery syrup industry. All right. Even before the pandemic, the mystery syrup industry is a $1 billion industry. Branches of our government profit from and have patents for mystery syrups. So these are the same types of programming that you're watching on TV. If you really think watching TV is going to give you health advice, you're playing roulette with your own health. I mean, look at all the things advertised, right? You're seeing things like Glade plugins and Febreze, which I talked about earlier on a post. That stuff is so toxic. If you are watching this right now and didn't see that post, go to every outlet in your house, take out every single Glade plugin, throw them into the garbage immediately. All right. Get every single bottle of Febreze, throw it out immediately and get it out of your house. Just true story. One of my dearest friends was, we were getting ready for an event and she had made these decorations that she put in a bag and she wasn't able to go to the event before I was. She had to go pick up somebody from the airport. So I had her bag full of all these decorations. So sweet of her. It's in my car. I'm driving home because the event was the next day. And I'm driving home, which is an hour away, and I start feeling diarrhea cramps in my stomach. True story. TMI maybe, but it serves its purpose. And I'm like, what is going on? What is that smell? Like, that's why I have these diarrhea cramps. And I'm like, I can't stand it. So I'm at a red light. I reach back. I grab that bag that she had all the decorations in, and I smell it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly why I have diarrhea cramps. I immediately could not get home fast enough. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do? Throw them in a dumpster? I needed them for the event, the decorations. So I immediately get home. I throw them in my garage. I empty them out of that thing. And I let all the decorations like air out in my garage and everything was fine. I took some Smart Carb and I was fine. But the point is there are chemicals that are added to these things that are creating a lot of digestive distress and you don't need that. So there are a lot more natural things that you could be doing, much like back to what we're talking about here. All of this is not natural. So how do you fix that you have fat dumping in your blood? How do you fix having an elevated cholesterol without taking a medicine? How do you fix elevated triglycerides and elevated blood pressure? Well, first you have to admit that you have a problem. Then you have to admit that you need to do something about it. If you really want to fix this naturally, you have to be willing to do so. You have to have that accountability in place. It's really that simple. Then what you want to start doing is you want to start moving your body. These are all things that you've heard before. Nothing I'm telling you is anything exceptionally brand new at all. You want to be making sure you're eating a lot of garlic, lemons, ginger. You want to be doing things like juicing beets, perhaps, dandelion greens. These are just some of the things. I could go on and on. I could do a whole 24-hour marathon about how to help your liver, but these are just some basic things. All right. You want to make sure that you are taking a food enzyme, much like Smart Carb. If you want my Smart Carb, go to omegadigestion.com, by the way. That's my custom formula, omegadigestion.com. But you want to be taking a food enzyme. Why? Because the food enzyme is the thing that's going to really help you start to digest these things when you're having difficulty there. When you are broken all the way down here and you're not digesting fat, you are now disrupting hormone health. You are disrupting cholesterol function. And you need cholesterol, by the way. It is a magnificent compound. Your brain is full of it. Cholesterol is beautiful. The problem is when you're not digesting these nutrients the right way, such that you are relying now on fat for energy. So your body is dumping fat and cholesterol and triglycerides and elevating your blood pressure, shutting off insulin. All of these things are happening because your body is doing its best to fight for you, right? Your body always wants to heal itself. So the very first thing you could be doing is making sure that you're understanding this cascade that I talk about ad nauseum and understand that it all traces back to that. Why? Because we're talking about energy and you can't ignore energy. Every single symptom you might have is coming from an energy shortage. And that starts all the way right over here at carbohydrates. So you could be eating the right things, moving your body, avoiding white sugars, okay? Avoiding refined anything, getting all that environmental toxicity out of your home, believe it or not, is a good thing. No more alcohol, all right? No more high fructose corn syrup. That's another reason why you might get fatty liver disease, is if you've been drinking tons of soda and pop. Very toxic. All right. So these are just some of the things that you could be doing to naturally get ahead of this, and the body will reverse course and it will correct itself if you help it. But that begins with you being responsible and not thinking that you're a victim and that you need medicine to save you. Only you can save you. And I'm going to leave it with that. Only you can save you. And to think that the government cares about you, to think that the TV programming that you're watching, that they care about you, it's laughable. All right. And we're seeing all of that stuff ramp up again because it's just more control, more control. You are in control. Don't allow anyone else to control you. All right. Don't participate in all the nonsense, because it's exactly what that is. That's exactly why so many people think that this is a good option. People think this is a good option to handle all this stuff over here when it's just more poison. All this, there's nothing nutritional in it. There's not a carb, protein, fat in here that's energizing. There's nothing nutritional at all about any of these prescription drugs. That's how simple it really is. Okay. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I got to call up at 12 o'clock, but yeah. So Maggie says, the doctors make money doing this. Your modern day pusher man. Exactly right. Johnny says, hey, Johnny, clearing some plaque from heart artery, how can it get done? And can it without surgery? Absolutely. Food enzymes are wonderful for that. Also, healing enzymes like my product Smart Lymph is great for that stuff. It helps to clean the blood, not thin the blood. You want to clean the blood, not thin the blood. Okay, that's what this stuff does. But yeah, more garlic, more lemons, heart healthy things like hawthorn. There's so many things to be doing. Let me see if I got time for one more question. I don't think I see any more questions, but thank you, Esther. My pleasure. Thank you for being here, everybody. If you guys are interested in working with me, just know that all you have to do, let's see if I have it available. All you have to do to work with me, let me put it on here, it'll be easier, is if you are interested in a free training, you can just go to bit.ly bit.ly/gut called, a little delay here. And that's going to give you a free training and an opportunity to talk to a member of my team about my process. With that, thank you so much for watching. Remember, you're in control. Love yourself healthy. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your day.